review segment. Today in my panel I have from my extreme left Mheshimiwa Jonathan Mweke, the Deputy Governor of Nairobi. Mheshimiwa, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
On my immediate left, Mheshimiwa Beatrice Elache, nominated Senator in our Senate. Mheshimiwa, good morning and welcome. You don't look very happy today. Was the run so difficult over the weekend?
Maybe.
Sorry,
but I'm good.
We have just a few more weeks
to go.
On my immediate right, Mheshimiwa Professor Jonathan Lonyangapuo. Mheshimiwa John Lonyangapuo. Mheshimiwa, good morning and welcome. I don't know why I always call you Jonathan.
He's also like John.
And if you look at the story of Jonathan in the Bible, I think it's somebody you'd want to associate with.
And of a king.
And of course, Mheshimiwa Paul Simba Arati, Member of Parliament. Mheshimiwa, good morning and welcome.
Morning, thank you.
Were you in Narok?
No, I was not in Narok.
I wanted to ask you if you brought us any piece of meat, because I hear 50 cows and almost 300 sheep went down.
No, meat is for Jubilee, and we are meza mati.
Muna meza mati.
Yes, our side.
Well then, I have 4 papers today. We'll be taking a quick look at the stories that are making headlines before we delve into further detail. The Standard this morning talks about civil service pay. It's now been revealed that hefty allowances that have been enjoyed by almost 600,000 employees in the public service, both the national government and the county governments, could now be axed. A report has exposed how over 600,000 employees in the public service have enjoyed lucrative allowances that account for 70% of their gross pay. This and more in the report by the SRC, and the details are glaring on the front page. Together with that, now if you want to enroll for teacher training, the entry grades have been upped. This is according to Dr. Fred Matiang'i, Minister, Cabinet Secretary for Education, in a report that is also captured in the Standard, together with the story on sports. Just like you heard from my colleague Willis Raburu and John Kianda, they were looking at the Africa Cup of Nations, and many more stories in the inside pages of the Standard. The Daily Nation headlines with an agenda for our country 2017 elections, and we'll be looking at this in detail. Of course, they have a story about Akasha Brothers having given about 4 million shillings as bribe to the judiciary to avoid or to delay their cases, and many more interesting stories. President Uhuru Kenyatta, according to his spokesman Manoa Esipisu, is expected to do a whirlwind tour in 5 counties, including Nairobi, Nakuru, Nyandarua, Kisii and Nyamira, in a bid to encourage more people to turn out and register as voters. The same Daily Nation has stories about war on corruption. More funds for counties is one of the top promises that were given by NASA during their campaign, during their rally in Bomet. Something interesting on the Daily Nation, page 8, Al-Shabaab now denies stealing voter kits. A Somali terror group, Al-Shabaab, has denied claims that it stole a biometric voter registration kit during their Thursday's attack on a police camp in Mandera County. Remember, the paper quotes Mr. Laffy, who is the Deputy County Commissioner, Deputy County Commissioner Mr. Eric Oronyi, having said that the attackers made away with a police vehicle, a motorcycle, 3 rifles, bullets and 4 voter registration kits belonging to IEBC. Now the terror group says we did not take any such equipment. The Business Daily has a number of stories. The most interesting, which will also form part of our discussion this morning, is on page 6. It talks about page 5 rather. It talks about 62% of counties flaunting the law on ethnic bias in hiring their staff. This is a report according to the Auditor General, Mr. Edward Ouko. And of course the Taifa Leo, habari zilizopewa kipaumbele ni kwamba ahadi za NASA Muungano wa NASA umetoa ahadi kadha wa kadha, ikiwa ni kujenga nchi yenye umoja, kuimarisha demokrasia na utawala bora, kuhakikisha kwamba kila mwananchi yuko salama, afya bora ambayo ni nafuu kwa wananchi. Wanasema kwamba watahakikisha hakuna mwananchi atakayelala njaa, watasimamia kwa vizuri uchumi wa nchi, watahakikisha kwamba elimu bila malipo kuanzia chekechea hadi sekondari inaimarishwa, wataangamiza ufisadi na kuimarisha ugatuzi. Haya ni baadhi tu ya ahadi walizopeana wananasa walipokuwa kule Bomet. Bila shaka, without wasting much more time, gentlemen, I want us to look at first the story that formed the basis of the campaign rally by Jubilee at the coast over the weekend, the issue of drugs and the drug lords. Who really is behind this thing? And before we delve into it, my director Robert, if you have the clip, please just let us know what really transpired at the coast about this war against drugs.
The coastal town by the Inspector General Police appeared to be a culmination of a week-long frenzied activity in the region, where the entire government machinery appears to have set camp and declare war on drug lords.
The war has just started. Our determination is to ensure that we uproot the entire tree, the roots, the stem, the branches, including the leaves.
The crackdown began recently with the dramatic arrest and extradition of 2 sons of known drug baron, the late Ibrahim Akasha, and 2 other foreigners to the United States of America to face charges of drug trafficking. And now he says there is no turning back.
Those few who are now away are just part of a network. And we are determined to ensure that the entire tree, I'll repeat, the entire tree is completely uprooted.
Both President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto, who visited the area over the past few days, send out a similar message.
Watu wajue ya kwamba watatafuta nchi nyingine lakini sio Kenya.
Haijalishi wako na uwezo gani wa kisiasa. Haiwezekani ati wewe ni kiongozi, ati wewe ni mfanyabiashara, kazi yako ni kuuza madawa ya kulevya, watoto wa Wakenya wengine wapotee, wewe ukue tajiri na watoto wako wasome.
Although the leaders have not named anyone in public, speculation is rife as to who the law enforcement agencies could be targeting. Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho as well as Nairobi Senator Mike Mbuvi Sonko have strongly denied any links to the illicit trade.
Kwamba serikali ya Jubilee ndiyo inaongeza nguvu na kupatia watu mutisha, na wale ambao wanauza miadarati na kula nguvu ya kuendeleza hiyo biashara. Because if you are targeting all the time the wrong people, what does it mean?
Passport yangu iko tayari. Nilienda Amerika mwisho na mheshimiwa rais. Tuko tayari kurudi huko. Na FBI itaamua ni nani anafanya miadarati na nani afanye miadarati.
Coast Regional Coordinator Nelson Marwa, who has had run-ins with Joho in the past, says the days of drug lords are numbered.
Our consumers hatuhitaji saizi. Rehab yao karibu inakamilika Miritini anyways. Wapelekwe huko. But we want to mob up to the barons kwanza, all the way from Lamu mpaka Vanga.
Whether the authorities are finally serious to take on the drug syndicates that have destroyed the lives of many, especially in the coastal region, remains to be seen. Hassan Mugambi, Citizen TV.
Thank you, Hassan. Gentleman and lady, Hassan Mugambi has asked a very sensitive question. Whether the fight against drugs is serious will have to be seen. This is a call that started about 2 years ago. I'll start with you, Mheshimiwa Simbarati. What do you take of all this? Is there a goodwill? Is the war really serious?
I want just to start by saying that Jubilee government could not be serious in fighting drug menace in the coast. This is a regime which is corrupt. There is no way it will start pretending that it will fight drug menace in the country, whereas majority of those ones actually who could be involved, they're in the system. They can't tell us they are waking up now to see that there was a menace for 4 years. Where we're headed to elections, we know well that they want to paint. Actually, I like what the governor of Mombasa says. they always target wrong people, and they can't win the war against drug menace in the country as a whole.
Mheshimiwa Beatrice, what is your take, especially as a mother, as a lawmaker, and as a member of the Jubilee, about this war against drugs? It did not start yesterday. It's been with us over the years. Where lies the problem?
Well, first of all, I want to thank the President, and I want to also remember Saitoti and Mheshimiwa who passed on. Ojode, because that is the time they really worked on barons of drug dealers. But let's go back to coast and look at our children, because as politicians, I think we don't need to politicize the process or talk about it the way we want to talk about now, put it in politics. We have to be very serious. There is a mother I left on Saturday when I left Mombasa. A woman, 26-year-old child now at Portrice. You look at him, he has to come to Limuru for rehab. And as a mother, I will not care whether it's Joe or who. And the President should also not play games with it.
When you say let us not politicize, are you saying we should not be hearing about this in political rallies or something?
I would wish we don't, because I would like the way they did their Kasha thing. Nobody knew, even media didn't know. So if you want to deal with drug dealers, and I want to tell my government, we don't need to see it in papers. We don't need to have Boynet saying about it. You need to do a strategy where people just realizes Akasha arrived in the US, so and so arrived somewhere, and anyway Trump also has come in. So we must look at both. That's why foreign policy is very important, because one of the Trump's foreign policies was, I will deal with drug dealers. He knew very well here, Kenya, we've been looking for these guys to go to the US for the last 4 years. So for him also, he knows, I have to deliver what I told the US people, and in Kenya, I know there's a network, and he has taken the first network. So for me, the strategy was right, how we did the Akashas. What I want to tell government, go back to strategy, and also, as Mheshimiwa said, the network is within, because also the police have been protecting them. I saw lawyers crying. I was shocked. If a lawyer is crying that a drug dealer has been removed, taken somewhere else, you are crying because of the money, then you are cursed. Yeah, because it's money that is cursed. Money that destroys people is not money you can laugh around and think when you are growing old you will celebrate. You will never celebrate.
How best would we seriously once and for all take on this issue of drugs? It's not new, it didn't start yesterday, it's been with us for quite a while.
I don't know how we can proclaim that we have a formula that can remove a bad habit. What we can only laud is to congratulate everybody who has come out with a strategy and a desire to reduce and eliminate this menace that has been there. The only thing that we want to caution is we should not politicize and make it a political campaign tool during this time.
It should not be a campaign agenda.
Agenda at all. What we should only be able is to rally together as a Kenyans when to be able to remove this menace. It has been here with us for years, and we have been hiding it, and we have not taken it very seriously. So to me, we should be able to sit down across the divide of the political regimes and come up with a strategy, both CORD and the Jubilee, who are in power now, so that it doesn't look like it is one wing fighting it. We must just face it on, just like we are dealing with insecurity. We should be common. We are dealing with now hunger. All of us should converge, and now there's this fourth registration. Everybody is in it. We should also have that combined, joint and direction to eliminate some of this menace, including using the local leadership on the ground. Those are the people on the ground, village elders, and they call them nowadays Nyumba Kumi fellows, and MCS, former councillors. We also have now the governor and MPs. But when you come from the Bulus and you start handling it yourself, some people may misunderstand it that maybe you are playing
politics. Deputy Governor Jonathan Mweke, Nairobi has been touted as one of the transit points, especially in the slum areas. I don't know how best your government, as a county government, have been able to handle this issue.
Well, I support the war on drugs, any war on drugs, because drugs destroy lives. And it is indeed the responsibility of the government to protect lives. So I really do support this war. We need to look a little deeper than just the barons. Yeah? Why are we a transit point? We have border patrol, we have people in the port, we have the police service, we have the judiciary. It just means that people within the system allow this to happen. You could have the barons, yes, but how are they infiltrating our system? How do these drugs come in so easily and leave? You've seen some of the ships that bring the drugs being caught and being sunk by the president, and we lauded him for that because it was the right thing to do. So I think the real issue here, and the elephant in the room, Charles, is corruption. And that's what we've been singing along all these 4 years as the opposition. It's corruption. Because you can even see the Akashas in the front page of the Nation are saying they had bribed, or they had attempted to bribe the judiciary to extend their extradition. Yeah. So you know who the barons are, because this country has an intelligence system, right? But now the police are compromised. The people at the port of entry who allow these things in are compromised. If they're not compromised, it gets to judiciary. They are allegedly compromised. So I think we really need to tackle this corruption business.
Any chances that our leadership is also compromised to the extent that they are not very keen on ensuring that our youth have meaningful engagements, and so they resort to drugs?
All these organs I'm speaking about are arms of government. Yeah, so the buck really stops in the leadership to ensure that this thing gets done. I was actually shocked by the IG saying the war on drugs has just started. I mean, everybody knows that Kenya has been a transit point. We know our young girls and boys are used as conduits. How can it just start? This is something that should have been a continuous effort all the way through. I mean, for us in Nairobi, we are doing our bit. We have the Alcoholic and Drug Board, which does the liquor licensing, and we have teams that go around and do sensitization in the sub-counties, in the wards. In fact, actually right now we have a governors league.
It was rumored, sorry for cutting you short. It was
just answering your question about what Nairobi is doing.
Yeah, it was rumored that particularly in Nairobi, some of the clubs you've been raining on and closing down are related with the sale and transition of drugs. How true is it?
We don't have any evidence of that. What we've been doing is we've been shutting down the clubs that are nuisance, especially for noise. So some of them are in residential areas and they play loud music, which is against the environmental noise levels, and that's why we give them warnings, and if they don't adhere to the warnings, then we shut them down so that we don't disturb the peace and quiet of the residents.
And word has it that sometimes you're used to fight wars between club owners?
Well, you know, when people are breaking the law, they always try to find friends within the system to protect them. Yeah? And sometimes when you go very hard on these clubs, they even start spreading rumors that, you know, you're even a club owner yourself and you are trying to shut down their business. So they try and twist it into a business rivalry thing. But for us, we are just very firm and we are very fair. We want to follow the law. And if you're breaking the law, then we won't allow it to happen in Nairobi.
But seriously, you are the first people to break the law. I don't know what the other Washimiwai from Nairobi will say. How do you even allow a club to operate in a residential area before you crack down and cancel their license? Who gives them the authority?
Well, when you say residential area, you're using that term loosely. A lot of the residential areas have commercial centers. Yeah, and those commercial centers are already gazetted and zoned as commercial areas. For example, if you look at all of Kilimani, that is all commercial, that's front. But there's houses there. Yeah? So if somebody comes to ask for a commercial venture in a commercial area that's zoned, if you don't give them a license, they sue you because that's against the law. So we follow the law. So we are not saying the clubs should not be in where the residences are. Those are zoned commercial areas. That's why we give them a commercial license. What our problem is we tell them you have to operate within the law. And when they don't operate within the law is when we take action.
Charles, Charles, where I want to differ with my...
I was actually wondering why the two of you are quiet.
My good friend,
you're the interest of Nairobi.
Deputy Governor. Because one, the Fiscal Planning Act, which was done a long time ago, it has not changed. It has zoned Nairobi to different zoning. Today, if you see tall buildings around, these tall buildings have happened to be source of, money. Some officials at the county government have been receiving. Therefore, what we are saying is that we can't blame even the national government alone here. There is a problem even at the county level, and this one we have to say it the way it is. Because what happens is today I was in Seattle, and I know I was the chairman of General Purposes Committee. Today, what is happening all over is not even the law that they have changed themselves. Is where they are collecting money, where they give you extra flows, you pay around 2, 3, 4 million. The other day, we are talking about drug trafficking.
Precisely, and this provides a very conducive.
I saw when the governor said that the senator is involved in drug trafficking in the city. Using the ambulance that Mike Sonko brought
up. A very serious allegation.
Very serious allegation. Therefore, what we are saying is that there is a lot of truth, and we're not saying that the system is rotten, is bad manners in the society that we have.
But we have leadership.
And the leadership,
we have the
leadership. I can tell even in Kawangware, I know where police, they are involved in the syndicate of selling drugs. And we've complained this. But what do? These are the people that they are arrested today, they get into court, they are released. There is nothing. But then the problem we have is bad manners we have among the leadership, both in the county and the government.
If you were to be elected, this is a problem you would inherit. How would you tackle it?
First, before I inherit or tackle it, I just want to go back to Kilimani and ask my deputy governor. There is a club. Everyone has complained. Everyone. A club that they say the top, I don't know which top, whether it's top at the county government or national government, that you cannot close. This club has the loudest noise. Every person, as much as you say you'll give licenses, it's an area of investment. I think we need to also to appreciate, while you're saying it's a commercial zone, because we have zoned it that way, but we have people with children. When you enter their houses, they ask us questions that we can't answer. So I just want to ask the government, because we had said, and I know Hannington Irungu had told me, now we have to do a serious demonstration to make sure this club closes, because we have complained to the top, we have complained to the county government, have complained to the police. Nobody takes action. So is it a club of policemen who know they can protect themselves, or a club of national government people? We don't know, but that club has to either follow rules of NEMA.
Are there cases where you close down clubs and they defy you and keep operating?
You've seen the letters on social media where they've taken action. Some of them comply, and we allow them to open, because what we say, and which has been our policy in Nairobi really, is that we are pro-business. Yeah, we're just saying that whatever business you're running, as long as it's legal and it's not infringing on the rights of other people, then we are okay with it. I'd like the senator, she's right next to me, she's telling me a club in Nairobi. How does she expect me to take action?
She will tell you which club it is.
I will tell you which club it is.
The club is along Galana.
Yeah.
Tell you the
north. B club, I don't know B club.
She will tell you the club
where they spend $1 million a day.
Where you spend, it's called B club near Galana. That's a club that you can, I think even drugs, if you enter, definitely. That's
an allegation. Jonathan,
not an allegation.
Are you aware about
there.
this club?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware about this club?
And now it's coming to Lavington.
Okay, Beatrice. Have you taken any action, or have you had any concerns from
we
the
have.
resident?
You saw the letter that we wrote on the 8th of December, shutting it down until they complied with what we asked.
So they are compliant?
Yeah, they are compliant. They complied with what we asked them to do. And sometimes they relapse, and when they relapse, we take that action. But I also want to respond to my friend Simbarati about the Physical Planning Act. Mheshimiwa, you're living in the past. We have what we call the first integrated
when he was
councillor. Yeah, he's living. Not even that. He's saying that, you know, a long time ago the Physical Planning Act used to be like this. You know, progressive governments change, and I know a lot of people are resistant to change, but that's what you do when you're progressive. So we came in and we looked at the Physical Planning Act that was done in 1970 something, and we looked at Nairobi today. Nairobi has changed, my friend. Those bypasses they are seeing all over the place were not in the Physical Planning Act.
Okay.
The integration between the IT and all that stuff. So we implemented the first integrated master plan this city has ever seen since 1900. It was done by JICA. It's one of the most progressive in Africa, and that's what we're implementing now. So when you see tall buildings coming up, just know traffic studies have been done, studies have been done, and all that stuff has been done.
Well then, we'll be taking gentlemen, let's take a commercial break. We'll be right back after this on the same issue, because it's a very pertinent issue. It's bordering on the lives of the children whose parents trade in drugs, who take drugs themselves,